All right, let's talk about something that's really affecting so many young people today, teen anxiety. And look, we're not just talking about getting stressed out over a test. This is a much bigger deal, a real health issue. And understanding it, that's the very first step to actually doing something about it. So let's get right into it. Okay, I want you to just let this number sink in for a second. 32%. That's the figure from the National Institute of Mental Health. What does that actually mean? It means that nearly 1 out of every 3 teenagers will deal with an anxiety disorder. Wow, this isn't some rare thing. It's happening right now, in our schools, in our communities, probably to someone you know. So that huge number brings up a really important question, right? Because everyone gets stressed, every teenager worries about stuff. So what's the difference? Where's the line between, just normal teenage angst and an actual clinical disorder that needs real support? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. Okay, first things first. Before we go any further, we have to be on the same page. Let's define what we even mean when we say an anxiety disorder. Getting the definition down is super important. So here it is. An anxiety disorder isn't just about feeling worried for a little while. It's when that fear, that worry becomes so constant and overwhelming that it actually starts to interfere with everyday life. And I want you to remember that word, interferes, because honestly, that's the whole key. That's the big difference between typical stress and a clinical disorder. And this chart really breaks it down perfectly. Think about normal worry. It comes and goes, right? It's usually about something specific, like, oh man, I have a huge test tomorrow. And it doesn't really stop you from doing things. But an anxiety disorder, that's a whole different beast. We're talking about worry that sticks around for 6 months or even longer. It can feel like it comes out of nowhere, totally uncontrollable. And it's the kind of thing that genuinely gets in the way of school, friendships, everything. Okay, so if it's more than just a feeling in your head, what does anxiety actually look like? How does it show up? Well, it can affect a teen's thoughts, their physical body, and how they interact with the world. And being able to spot these signs, it's absolutely crucial. First, let's talk about the psychological stuff, the battle that's happening inside. This is so much more than just worrying. It's this deep feeling of dread that just won't go away. It can be like having the same negative thoughts stuck on repeat in your brain, or that sudden, intense need to just avoid a situation entirely, like skipping school or a party. And at its peak, it can manifest as a panic attack, which is, frankly, a terrifying experience for anyone. And all that turmoil in the mind, it takes a very real toll on the body. The mind-body connection here is no joke. We're talking about a racing heart, shaking, constant headaches from all that tension, even stomach issues. It can make something we all take for granted, like sleep, feel completely out of reach. So it's so important to remember, these are not just in their head. These are real physical things they're feeling. And of course, that internal fight eventually spills over into their social life. You might see a teen who used to be super outgoing suddenly pull back and isolate themselves. It's not that they don't want to hang out with their friends, it's that the thought of it is just exhausting. They might dodge parties or any situation where they feel like they're being watched. Or you could see the opposite, a teen who needs constant reassurance, always asking things like, are we okay? Or did I say the wrong thing? Just trying to calm that anxious voice inside. Okay, so we know what it is, and we know what it looks like. But the big question is, why? Why does this happen? Well, the truth is, it's complicated. It's almost never just one single thing. It's usually this complex mix of what's going on inside someone's biology and what's happening in the world around them. So let's start with the internal stuff, what you might call the nature part of it. Genetics are a huge factor. If anxiety runs in the family, there's a higher chance a teen might experience it too. Then there's biology, things like imbalances in brain chemicals. And finally, psychology plays a part. Certain personality traits, like being a perfectionist or having low self-esteem, can unfortunately make a person more susceptible. But that's only half the picture. The nurture side, the world around them, is just as powerful. I mean, just think about it. First, you've got insane academic pressure. Then layer on top of that all the social stress, figuring out friendships, dealing with cliques, maybe even bullying. And then you add the 24/7 world of technology, the constant social media comparison game, cyberbullying. It's like a perfect storm of pressure that can easily spark or worsen anxiety. All right, so we've covered the what and the why, but now we have to talk about the so what. What are the consequences? Because this is critical.
Untreated anxiety isn't something a teenager can just snap out of. It creates these ripple effects that can touch every single corner of their life.
And the impact is just huge. It really does affect everything. I mean, think about school. How are you supposed to focus on your homework when your mind is just racing a million miles an hour? Naturally, grades start to suffer. Socially, it can put up walls, making a teen feel totally isolated. Emotionally, it's just draining, and that kind of exhaustion can lead to other serious things like depression. It makes things tough at home, and this is so important, it can set up challenges that last well into their adult life.
And make no mistake, the stakes here are incredibly high. The data is crystal clear on this. When anxiety goes untreated, the outcomes aren't good. We see more kids missing school, academic performance drops, and sometimes, tragically, teens might turn to substance abuse just trying to find a way to cope. This is precisely why seeking help isn't just a good idea, it is absolutely essential. Okay, I know that was all pretty heavy, so now I want to completely shift gears and talk about the most important part of this whole conversation, hope. Because there is a clear path forward. Anxiety is absolutely treatable. There are real, effective solutions out there.
So one of the absolute best tools in the toolbox is something called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It sounds complicated, but the idea is actually pretty straightforward. Step 1, you learn to identify the negative thoughts that are running on a loop. Step 2, you learn to challenge them, to actually ask, hey, wait a minute, is that thought even true? Step 3 is all about reframing, swapping out those negative thoughts for more realistic ones. And finally, you practice new skills to handle the anxiety. It's literally like retraining your brain how to think. And hey, CBT isn't the only game in town. There's also exposure therapy, which is a way to gently and safely face your fears until they lose their power. Family therapy can be a game changer because it helps everyone in the house get on the same team. And for some, medication, carefully managed by a doctor, can really help get the brain's chemistry back in balance, which can make all the other therapies work even better. Now, if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this. Early intervention is everything. The sooner a teen gets support, the better the results. Just waiting around hoping it'll magically disappear, that is not a strategy. Tackling it early on gives them the skills to manage it for life, before it grows into something bigger. But you know, a therapist can't do it alone. Professional help is one piece, but the support network around a teen, that's the rest of the puzzle. It takes everyone. Parents creating a home where it's safe to talk about hard things. Teachers who know the signs and can offer a little flexibility. And friends who just listen and include them can make an unbelievable difference. It really truly is a team effort. So let's leave it with this final thought. We've seen the numbers, we've talked about the signs, we know there are solutions that work. So what's the biggest barrier left? A lot of the time, it's just the stigma. So the question for all of us is this: how do we build communities in our own families, our schools, our friend groups, where asking for help isn't seen as a weakness, but as what it really is, a sign of incredible strength? That's the work we all need to do.